Good morning students, how are you all? I hope you are fine. In today's video, I'll explain you the story, The Necklace from the Footprints Without Feet, written by Guy de Maupassant. Guy de Maupassant was a French writer. He was remembered as the master of the short story. He has written 300 short stories, 6 novels, 3 travel books and 1 volume verse. This entire story revolves around the necklace, and the main characters are Matilda Lochiel, Monsieur Lochiel, and Madame Forestier. And the main character is Matilda Lochiel. So in this story, Matilda Lochiel, she was a young and pretty lady, but she has one demerit that she born in a very poor family. Though she born in a poor family, her parents didn't have that much money so that they can arrange a dowry and arrange a dowry for her marriage. She used to dream for a luxurious and delicacy life, but as she was poor, she had to marry to a clerk. Her husband, Monsieur Lochiel, was a clerk in a board of education. And she had a friend, Madame Forestier. When she married to Monsieur Lochiel, she always used to think about a luxurious life. She was not happy. She always lived in a distressed life. She always dismayed. She always irritated. She always become in a dull mood, we can say. So what happened after marriage? Once they got the invitation from the Minister of Education, where they both were invited. This couple was invited for the party. When Matilda came to know she has been invited for the party, she was not happy. Why was she not happy? Because she said to her husband, she didn't have a good costume, good outfit, good dress. How did she attend a grand party? So her husband her husband was very stammered. He stammered and he was in dismay. He thought how could he help to her? How could he help to his wife? Then afterwards, when he saw his wife is weeping like anything, he asked how much money you require to buy a dress. Then Melinda said she required 400 francs. Then her husband gave 400 francs to her to buy a beautiful dress. When she bought a beautiful dress for her for the party, but still she was not happy. She was not happy because she didn't have a good jewelry. She was looking for a good jewelry. Then her husband suggests her she should go to her friend Madame Forestier and borrow the necklace. So she went to the Madame Forestier, and Madame Forestier offered her so many jewelries, and she selected one necklace. That necklace was very expensive. Afterwards, what happened with that necklace, we will cover in the story. I'll tell you the story. This was the briefest sketch of the story. And afterwards, we'll read the story line by line. Good morning, students. Now I'll explain you the rest part of the story. As in previous video, I had explained that the couple was invited in the minister residence. So Mr. Lochiel gave 400 francs to Matilda as she didn't have any beautiful dress, so that she could buy a beautiful dress. So then the day of party approached. So I'll read the chapter and explain the entire chapter. The day of the ball approached, and Ma'am Lochiel seemed sad. Ma'am means in French, we call Ma'am means Mrs. Disturbed, anxious, nevertheless her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days." So then the day was approached. Matilda was still not fine. Even though her dress was ready, one evening her husband asked her why she had been acting strangely for past 2-3 days. What was the reason? And she responded, I am vexed not to have a jewel. Then she replied, she was annoyed because she didn't have a jewelry, nothing to adorn myself with, so that she could look more beautiful. Adorn means more attractive or more beautiful. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party. Then she said, poverty stricken look means unpleasant feeling, or we can say unpleasant look. Then she said she would rather prefer not to going to the party. He replied, you can wear some natural flowers. In this season, they look very chic. Then her husband suggested her that she could wear some natural flowers, and in this season they will give you chic. Chic means elegant look, stylish and fashionable look. She was not convinced. No, she replied, there is nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. She was not satisfied. She replied no, that she could not, as it looked really cheap in the party of rich people. Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are. Go and find your friend Madame Forrester and ask her to lend you her jewels. Then her husband suggested that she should go to her friend Madame Forrester and ask some jewelry. She uttered a cry of joy. It's true, she said. I had not thought of that. She was very happy then, and she said she didn't have that idea. The next day, she took herself to her friend's house and related her story of distress. So, next day, she went to her friend's house and narrated her story of distress, such as she didn't have jewelry to wear for the party. Madame Forrester went to her closet. Closet means almirah, wardrobe. She went to her almirah, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it, and said, choose, my dear. So Madame Forrester went to her almirah and she took a large jewelry case and she kept in front of Matilda and said her she could choose by her own. She saw at first some bracelet, then a collar of pearls. So then Matilda saw some bracelet, then collar. Collar means collar of pearls means something made by pearls she could wear on neck. Then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels of admirable workmanship. Then she saw Venice style cross of gold, jewels of admirable workmanship. Workmanship means craft. She tried the jewel before the glass, hesitated but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she tried all the jewelry in front of mirror and hesitated because she didn't find which jewelry was suiting on her or which not. She was not able to decide what to take and what to leave. Then she asked, have you nothing more? Then she asked Madame Forrester, did she have more jewelry? Why, yes, look for yourself. I don't know what will please you. Suddenly she had discovered in a black satin box. Then Madame Forrester said, you decided by your own. You look by yours own, because she didn't know what will make her happy, in what will suits on her. Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a super necklace of diamonds. She then saw a super diamond necklace kept in a black satin box. Her hands trembled as she took it out, and she took it out with trembling hands and wore it. She placed it her throat against her dress, and she put the necklace nearby her throat, matched with her wrist, and was ecstatic. Ecstatic means joyful, and she was very happy. Then she asked in a hesitating voice full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this?" Then she asked in a hesitating manner to her friend whether she could lend her that necklace. "Only this? Why, yes, certainly." Then her friend said, definitely she could give that necklace to her friend. She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then she went away with her treasure. Then she hugged her friend. Embrace means to hold someone closely in one's arm. Then afterwards she hugged her friends and with passion, with heartily, then she took the treasure. She went away with her treasure. Treasure means necklace. Then she went away with her necklace. The day of the ball arrived. Madame Lochel was a great success. So now the day of party was arrived and Madame Lochel was very great success. She was very happy. She was the prettiest of all and she was the prettiest woman among all. Elegant, gracious, smiling the full of the joy. Then the was appreciated as she was the prettiest, most elegant and gracious of all the women. She was very happy and full of joy as all the men noticed her, as she was noticed by all the men. Asked her name, they were asking her name and wanted to be presented and they wanted to meet the Matilda. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure. Then she danced with enthusiastically intoxicated. Intoxicated means lose control of oneself. And she was so happy, then she danced in such a way, then she lose the control over her, thinking of nothing but all this admiration, this victory, so complete the sweet to her heart. And she was so happy because she was not thinking, because she has got all the attention in the party and the admiration. This victory, the success so complete, and this was the moment she was waiting for a long time, and that was very sweet to her heart. She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. So the couple left the party 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little salons since midnight. Her husband was sleeping in a small room since midnight with the 3 other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. So her husband was sleeping in the room along with other 3 gentlemen whose wives were enjoying the party. They were gossiping, dancing. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they had carried, whose poverty clashed with the elegance of the ball costume. So, when they were about to leave, her husband threw a modest means cheap, wrap means shrug, a cheap shrug on her shoulder, and that wrap was not very good, and the elegance of the party dress was getting ruined by the wrap. She wished to hurry away in order to not to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. So as her wrap was very modest and was not matching with her beautiful dress, so she wanted to hurry from that place in order to that she was not be noticed by the other women, those who were wrapping themselves in a rich furs. Lochel detained her. "Wait," said he. "I'm going to call a cab." Then Mr. Lochel held her and said, "Wait, I'm going to call a taxi." But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. But she didn't listen to her husband and stepped down rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage. When they were reached in the street, they found no carriage. Carriage is a kind of cart pulled by a horse, and then began to seek for one, hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance. So they didn't find any carriage because it's a 4 o'clock in the morning, and they were unable to find any carriage. And they were hailing. Hailing means calling. They were calling the coachman. Coachman means the drivers of the cart. whom they saw at a distance, whom they saw from the long distance. They walked along towards the river, hopeless and shivering, as they didn't find any carriage. So they were started walking towards the river. They were hopeless. They were shivering as it is very cold. It was very cold. They were shivering due to cold. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in the Paris after nightfall. So finally, they found one of those old carriages that generally seems in the Paris after the nightfall. It took them as far as their door, and they went wearily up to their apartment. So the carriage took them as far as their door, and afterwards they went wearily. Wearily means tired. They tiredly up to their apartment, and they were very tired, and they went up to their apartment. It was all over for her. So, but Matilda was very tired, so she was very tired and she was trying to sleep. And on his part, he remembered that he would have to be at the office by 10 o'clock. And Mr. Loshel, he is remembered that tomorrow he had to go to office by 10 o'clock. She removed the wraps from her shoulder before the glass. Then she removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass for a final view of herself in a glory. And in front of a glass, she stood and she wanted to see her last time in such a pretty dress and beautiful necklace. Suddenly she uttered a cry. Her necklace was not around her neck, and she uttered a cry. She shouted because the necklace was missing. There was no necklace on her neck. Mr. Loshel, already half undressed, asked, "What is the matter?" So Mr. Loshel, already half undressed and he was almost about to sleep, and he asked, what was the matter? She turned towards him excitedly. I no longer have Madame Forrester's necklace. And she turned towards him and said she didn't have Madame Forrester's necklace and it was missing. He arose in dismay. He became sad. What? How is that? It's not possible. And he didn't believe because he said it could not possible. And they looked in the folds of the dress, in the folds of the cloak, in the pockets, everywhere they couldn't find it. And they looked the necklace everywhere, in the folds of the dresses, folds of the cloaks and the pockets everywhere, they couldn't able to find it. He asked, "You are sure you still had it when we left the minister's house?" Then he asked Mrs. Loshel, did she remember whether she had the necklace when she left the minister's house? Yes, I felt it as we came out. Then Mrs. Loshel, she replied, yes, she felt it when they came out from the party. But if you had lost it in the street, we should have heard it fall. Then Mrs. Loshel said, if it would have fallen on the street, then they would have heard the sound of the falling. But they didn't hear anything. It must be in the cab, which means that it must have fallen in the cab. Yes, it is possible. Did you take the number? Then she said, yes, it could be. Did you take the number? And asked, did he take the number? No. And you? Did you notice what it was? They both were questioning each other. Did they notice the number of the carriage? No. They looked at each other utterly cast down, and they looked at each other in dismay, and they utterly let down. Finally, Loshel dressed himself again. As Mr. Loshel was about to sleep, he dressed up again. I'm going, he said, over the track where we went on foot to see if I can find it. Then he said to his wife, now he was going over those tracks where they were walking on feet to see if it can find out the necklace. And he went, she remained in her evening gown, not having the force to go to bed. Her husband went outside to search the necklace, and she remained at home and in the evening gown, and she was not feel like sleeping. Towards 7 o'clock, her husband returned. He had found nothing. At 7 o'clock, her husband returned and he didn't find anything. He went to the police and to the cab offices and put an advertisement in the newspapers offering a reward. So he went to the police station, the cab offices, and he put an advertisement in the newspaper and offering a reward the person who would get the necklace. She waited all the day in the state of bewilderment. This frightful disaster, Loshel returned in the evening. She waited all the day at the state of bewilderment means confusion. She was waited for her husband and she was so confused. Before this frightful means very unpleasant. Disaster. Loshel returned in the evening, his face pale, he had discovering nothing. So entire day she was waiting for him, and when he returned, his face was pale and he had discovered nothing. He didn't find the necklace. He said, "Write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and you will have it repaired. That will give us time," she wrote as it dictated. He said, you should write the letter to your friend that the clutch of the necklace was broken and she had given it for the repairing, and she could give them more time. She wrote as he dictated. She wrote as her husband dictated, means whatever her husband has told her. At the end of the week, they had lost all hope. Miss Anne Loshel, older by 5 years, declared, "We must replace this jewel." At the end of the week, they lost all the hope because they were not able to find the necklace. And Loshel, who was 5 years older to Mrs. Loshel, he declared that they must replace the jewel. In the shop of the Palace Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds. So they went to the shop of Palace Royal where they found the chaplet. Chaplet means a string of diamonds, which seemed to them exactly like the one they had lost, and it was exactly like the necklace they had lost. It was valued at 40,000 francs, and the cost of that necklace was 40,000 francs. They could get it for 36,000, and in offer they could get that necklace of 36,000. Mr. Loziel possessed 18,000 francs, but Mr. Loziel had only 18,000 francs and he required more because they had to pay the 36,000 which his father had left him. So that 18,000 francs had been left by his father before his death. He borrowed the rest, as they had to pay 36,000 and he had only 18,000, so he had to borrow the rest of the money. He made ruinous promises. He destroyed the promises, took money from the usurers, and the whole race of lenders. And usurers means moneylender. And he took the money from the moneylender. Then he went to get the new necklace, depositing on the merchant's counter 36,000 francs. Then he went to the merchant's counter and he deposited a 36,000 franc and got the new necklace. When Madame Loshel took back the jewel to the Madame Forrester, the latter said to her in a frigid tone. When Mrs. Loshel took the necklace to her friend told her in a rigid tone, "You should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them." That she should have returned it earlier, as she too needed the necklace. Madame Forrester did not open the jewel box as Madame Loshel feared she would. So Madame Forrester didn't open the jewel box at Madame Loshel had expected. She was worried about that what would happen what would she think if she should perceive the substitution? Madame Luciel was worried about what would happen if her friend came to know about the replacement of the necklace. What should she say? Would she take her for a robber? Then she thought that she would have blamed her to be a thief. Madame Luciel now knew the horrible life of necessity. Now the Madame Luciel, she came the horrible life of necessity. She did her part, however, completely horribly, but she played a very played her role very heroically, like a hero. It was necessary to pay his frightful debt. She would pay it. Now she realized that the exact necessary of the life. Earlier she wanted to live a very luxurious and delicacy life. Now it was necessary for her to pay the frightful debt because they were under the debt. She would pay it. They sent away the maid, they changed their lodging, they rented some rooms in an attic. So for paying the debt, they sent away the maid. They removed the maid from their house. They changed their lodging. Lodging means residence, and they changed their residence. They rented somewhere in the rooms at the attic of the room. She learned the odious. Odious means foul, dirty. She learned the odious work of a kitchen as they had to pay the frightful debt. So the Mrs. Lochiel's life had completely changed. She learned the odious work of a kitchen. She washed the dishes. She washed the soiled linen. Soiled means dirty linen, bed sheets, their clothes and dish clothes, which she hung on the line to dry. So now Mrs. Lochiel, she started all the household work to save the money. She took down the refuse. She took down the refuse to the street each morning and brought up the water. And what else she used to do now? She took down the refuse. She took the garbage to the street each morning and brought up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breath. And on the stairs, she's stand for a while to take the breath, and clothed like a woman of the people. So now she started living like a common people, woman of the common people, like a common people. She went to the grocers, the butchers, and the fruiterers with a basket on her arm, shopping, haggling to the last sou of her miserable money. Now she started living like a common woman. She went to the grocers to buy vegetables, butchers, and the fruiters with a basket on her arm. She did the shopping, haggling. Haggling means bargaining, and bargaining for the to the last sou. Sou is a former French coin of low value for her miserable. The husband worked evenings, putting the books of some merchants in order. The nights he often did copying the 5 sou a page. Similarly, her husband was also in miserable condition as he used to work extra time in the evenings and often did copying work at night for a small amount of 5 sou a page. And this life lasted for 10 years, and they did this for last 10 years. At the end of 10 years, they had restored all, and after the 10 years, they had restored all the amount they had took from the moneylenders. Madame Lochiel seemed old now. Now see, the Madame Lochiel became old woman. She had become a strong, hard woman, the crude woman of the poor household. Earlier she was very pretty and beautiful. Now she had become a strong, hard woman and crude. Crude means rough. Of the poor household. A poor household. Her hair badly dressed, and her hair are badly dressed, uncombed, shabby. Her skirts awry, her hands red. She spoke in a loud tone and washed the floors with a large pail of water. And her skirts awry. Awry means always dirty. Her hands red, and her hands became swollen, red. She started speaking in a loud tone. and washed the floors, and she always used to wash the floors with a large pails in bucket, large number of bucket of water. But sometimes when her husband was at the office, she would sit herself before the window and think of that evening party of the former times. So when her husband was at office, she used to sit herself before the window and always used to think about that evening party of the former times, the ball of the former times, of that ball where she was so beautiful and so flattered. And still she was imagining about those ball when she was so beautiful and flattered. How would it have been if she had not lost the necklace? Who knows how singular is life, how full of changes, how small a thing will ruin or save one. Now she would imagine about how her life would be if she would have not lost the necklace. She used to think about how unpredictable life could be and how a small step could change a person's life. One Sunday, as she was taking a walk in the Sam Elise to rid herself of the cares of the week, as she was too tired the entire week, so she decided to take a walk in the Sam Elise to rid herself from the burden, stressed. Perceived means saw. She suddenly saw a woman walking with a child. It was Madame Forrester, still young, still pretty, still attractive. Madame Forrester was still young, pretty, and attractive. Madame Lucille was affected. Should she speak to her? So Madame Lucille was a bit hesitant, and she asked herself whether she had spoken to her. Yes, certainly, and now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Why not? Then, indeed, she should have talked with her because she had paid all the amount. She approached her. Good morning, Jenny. Her friend did not recognize her and was astonished to be so familiarly addressed by this common personage. When Madame Rochelle approached to Madame Forrester and said, "Good morning, Jenny," her friend was didn't recognize her as she was too old. She became too old, and she was astonished. Astonished means surprised, because only few people had called by this name to her. She stammered, "But madam, I don't know, you must be mistaken." But she stammered and she said to Matilda, that she might have mistaken. "No, I am Matilda Lochiel." Her friend uttered a cry of astonishment. She became so surprised. "Oh, my poor Matilda, how you have changed." And she said, "Oh, poor Matilda, you had changed a lot." "Yes, I have had some hard days since I saw you, and some miserable ones, and all because of you." Then she had narrated the all incident and tell her that she had gone through some difficult days, hard days, miserable days. "I saw you and all the miserable ones just because of her." "Because of me? How is that?" Then she asked Matilda how it could be because of her. "You recall the diamond necklace that you have loaned me to wear to the minister's ball?" Then she reminded her whether she remembered the diamond necklace that she had loaned her to wear on the minister's party. "Yes, very well. Well, I lost it." "How is that, since you have you returned it to me?" "Yes, very well," she remembered. Then Matilda said she had lost that. But she said how it could be because she had returned to her. "I returned another to you exactly like it, and it has taken us 10 years to pay for it." Then she told her that she returned
the another necklace exactly like the same necklace she had loaned her, and it had taken them to 10 years to pay for it. You can understand that it was not easy for us who have nothing. And she told her that she didn't understand that it was not easy for them, those who have nothing. But it is finished and I'm decently content. And she said that now that debt was over and she was satisfied. Madame Forrester stopped short. She said, You say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine. Then Madame Forrester stopped her and said, What did you say? That you had bought the diamond necklace to replace my necklace? Yes, you did not perceive it then. Then she said, You didn't saw it. You didn't see it, sorry. They were just alike, they are similar. And she smiled with a proud and simple joy. Madame Forrester was touched and Book took both her hands as she replied. And she smiled with proud and simple joy. Madame Forrester was touched and took both her hands as she replied, Oh, my poor Matilda, mine were false. Then she touched and took the hands of Matilda and said, Hold her hands and said, Matilda, mine was false. It was not original diamond. They were not worth over 500 francs, and the cost of that necklace, which Madame Forster had given to Madame Lochiel, was about only 500 francs. So, student, this was the story about Matilda, the prettiest young lady, how her life had changed just due to the necklace. I hope you understand. Sorry,